genetically engineered food, bioengineered food, genetically mounted organisms. These foods are produced from organisms that have had changed their introduced into the DNA by using genetic engineering. Genetic engineering is introduction of new traits as well as great control over introduce of for new traits used to selective breeding or automation breedings. So gene transfer is a part of genetic engineering. Let's take plant for example. If we want to make our plant strong or grow faster, we can choose some part of strong gene DNA and grow faster DNA and put them together. So the new breed will be created.
Okay, hold on a second. Can you turn up the volume on your microphone? It's not loud enough.
Now we know many kinds of GMO in our life, and some can be eaten, some can be used, some can be decorated by people. But you think, why should we just make this complex and engineering experiment or engineering? We can just eat the original food from the farm or the nature place, not in the lab for many experiments by the scientists. All the causes that because first, we want to add more crops. Then we can buy the crops in the store or the supermarket cheaper than now. The second is we want the crop to adapt the difficult growing place like the drought. And if we use the GMO, we can just may not afraid of a terrible place like this, and we can grow the plant on it. The third one is we want to make the crop to increase the resistance from the bacterium or the insects. And we can also decrease the pesticide to just make our environment be nice than before. Addition to the one more important accessory value is we also can use the GMO to make the nutrient for humans' body needs. So GMO just make many good ways for people. Why can we make it?
Can GMO really bring the prospect of having enough to eat and drink for the people all over the world? To learn from the experience of the Green Revolution, there are still nearly half of the population living in the place of the malnutrition. The problem isn't in the production, is also high for several times, but between the production and consumption. In genetic engineering, we can wonder of any change to the plant's genetic combination. But it will also bring about genetic changes. It makes the plant more resistant to viruses and pests, but for insects and birds, isn't the gospel. It makes the biodiversity decrease. Biotechnology industry in the promotion of GMO advocated that one of the benefits is the ability to reduce the use of pesticides. The journal points out that farmers use the pesticide more than ever. Because of resistant weeds, farmers use the pesticide is increasing and will continue. And it directly causes the health problem for people who consume GMO.
In 2016, Rachel Roberts, who won a Nobel in 1993, called more than 100 Nobel winners to sign a letter which supports GMO food. The letter calls Greenpeace to stop resist the GMO food, especially the golden rice, which helps a lot for those who don't have a lot of vitamin A. It also calls the governments around the world to improve their technology of GMO. The reason they signed this letter is that Greenpeace disagrees GMO distortion its risk and benefits, and also supports to damage the test and research in the field which is legal. The highlight of this letter is that science groups and governments keep confirming that eating GMO food is as safe as eating traditional food, even better, no matter humans or animals. There is no case that said eating GMO foods had harmed our health. Planting GMO foods has lowered the use of pesticides, and it helps a lot on biodiversity. Based on those statements, GMO food should be supported by Greenpeace and governments. European research shows that planting GMO food has lowered the usage of pesticide, and it also raised the yield 22%, and income of farmers has also raised 68%. But those who stand in opposite opinion still believe that planting GMO food had no good at all. In 2015, they even request to change the law to ban GMO food from entering school which offers lunch. It caused the price of lunch raise $2 to $5, or maybe offers less fruits and vegetables than they used to. Because of not knowing the technology of GMO, they lessen the offer of fruits and vegetables, has also lessened the health of students. Those who didn't support GMO food kept saying bad things about GMO, but they didn't really get to know about it. A rose has its thorns. We need to get to know about the true meaning of it and then make the opinion.
Although there are many benefits of GMO, it still has some serious problems of it. For example, there is a company called Monsanto, and it sells a lot of genetic modification products, and it including cereal seeds. One year they sold cereal seeds to Indian farmers, and the farmers saw that they could buy in a cheap price, and they can use it again after the harvest. However, their crops grow worse and worse, so that resulted that they need to buy the seeds every year from Monsanto. And furthermore, Monsanto also sells these farmers insecticide and herbicide. That means if a farmer buys seeds, they also need to buy a lot of chemical products to protect their crops. And in the end, a lot of farmers couldn't afford to pay high price and decide to end up their lives. And instead of this price problem, their insecticide also have problem. Their insecticide could only kill one kind of insect, so farmers need to buy a lot of insecticide to kill those insects. And the insect adapt the insecticide quickly and have drug resistance. And that have the same happen for the herbicide. The herbicide also have drug. Their herbicide called Roundup, and it also have drug resistance. And it causes the grass become the grass called resistant wheat. And one of year, the grass resistance wheat resistance invade 1,002,000 farmland. So that caused farmers hard to plant their crops. And instead of this, Monsanto said that their Roundup can be eaten and would harm your health. However, people found there are chemicals accumulate in their bodies. So you can see this picture. This is a data of residue in urine of California resistance And you could see in 2014 to 2016, it is high to 70%.
Yeah, residue in urine means when you go to the bathroom and pee, it's the dirty stuff that comes out. That's what she's talking about. Continue. Let's do it.
And in 2015, IARC said these chemical can cause people have cancer. Yeah.
So GMO food is have been connecting with our life. Maybe the information we listen to is not true. So we have to think twice before we buy them. Thank you for your listening.